It's a lovely good evening today, the 30th of January 2022. To present Camnet TV main news, my name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Top stories in the news tonight. Body of a missing old man found floating in a dam. President Hakainde Hichilema stresses on peace as CARITAS Zambia urges government not to shy away from constitutional reform. In international news, Burkina Faso army launches recruitment drive days after coup. And in sports news, MAGPIES signed BRUNO GUIMARAES from LYON.
From 31st January to 6 February 2022, Zambia's spiritual atmosphere will take a paradigm shift. The Bible says, "Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord."
Zambia, a nation under God conference
will be starting at 20:45 hours
to 22:30 hours.
Live on Camnet TV channel 274 on DSTV, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106.
Speakers will be
Bishop Stanley Simnyola, Grace Ministries;
Dr. Nevas Mumba, Victory Ministries;
Apostle Michael Mutemwa from South Africa;
Bishop Nelly Chikwanda, New Life Christian Center;
Apostle Rick Kamwanga, Risen Life Church International;
Bishop Joy Makando, Bread of Life;
Bishop Alex Mwami of Holy Ghost Firehouse from South Africa, and your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chilua.
Camnet Television,
not just another channel.
Another news in detail. The body of a 65-year-old man of Chilanga district has been found floating in Tuvalange Dam in the early hours of Sunday morning after going missing since Friday. According to Kanchule village headman Mr. Stephen Banda, the man, identified as Amos Perry, is believed to have left for the dam in an effort to cool off but did not return home. Area Councillor Mr. Tungenenge Chinoya says he will engage the relevant authorities to have the dam fenced off, as the man is the sixth person to have drowned. More in this report.
After searching for 2 days in the waters of Tuvalange Dam of Chilanga district, the body of Amos Piri, a 65-year-old man of the same area, was found floating in the dam in the early hours of Sunday morning. According to Kanchule village headman Mr. Stephen Banda, the wife of the deceased reported to him Friday evening that her husband had left for the dam to cool off in the afternoon of the same day, but had not returned by night time. He has called for the dam to be quickly fenced off, stating that over 5 people have drowned in the same dam so far.
Friday, bakwenda banunze noti yayi bamuna wange ne bakitabani baenda ku dam kuja swana bwerere. Mene banaendera kuchoka yesterday swana bwerere then tabwera tayanga nangana then nabwera ngatumira ku vacancy. Vacancy nao banabwera babwera bwera kusindikiza then kuchoka hapo bakira tunaenda ku police. So ba police banana dot yemlekezerana.
Meanwhile, a relative of the deceased has narrated what happened.
ukuya kuti vasangira chitako nata kachi current paper no mwara first echo vai vara akachero vai vasangira akunganda tapaishiro vabwereroka kuti kuri nata tamoneka ati kachi current tuvemfere kuma 12 kuti vachire mwana fyo muntu ndiaisa nokusati vato kuri fya kufara kuri na majombo ndipo twaimina mvillage isa kuti vasangira.
In a phone interview, Area Councillor Mr. Tungenenge Chinoya also says majority of residents have gardens near the dam due to the lack of boreholes in the area. He therefore says the solution is to construct more boreholes, while stating that he will engage relevant authorities to have the dam fenced off.
Okay, initially the dam was built some years back by the former Vice President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Karindele. And then there was also some sort of concern from the residents around to say we don't need the dam here because a lot of lives will be lost. But there was an assurance to say the dam will be safe. So we are yet to again ascertain as to who is responsible to fence off the dam. But I think as government we need to take it up.
The body has since been deposited in the mortuary of the University Teaching Hospital, awaiting burial. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News.
President Hakainde Hichilema has called for unity of purpose countrywide, adding that the United Party for National Development UPND administration is here to correct the wrongs through the provision of good governance. Speaking to the residents of Kamulanga Ward in Kabwata constituency, where he went to drum up support for the Kabwata constituency parliamentary election candidate Andrew Tayengwa, President Hichilema explains the good policies that the UPND promised the people have already started yielding results, such as the free education policy. The by-election in Kabwata is slated for the 3rd of February 2022, an election that was necessitated by the death of the UPND parliamentarian Levi Mkandawire. More in this report.
With exactly 4 days to the Kabwata parliamentary by-election, all political voices have intensified their trials in a bid to garner votes. The by-election scheduled to take place on Thursday, 3rd February 2022, has so far been characterized by peaceful campaigns from all contesting political parties. Sunday, United Party for National Development President Hakainde Hichilema was on the ground in Kamulanga area to drum up support for the parliamentary candidate Andrew Tayengwa. President Hichilema, who is also Republican president, called for unity as a key driver to national development.
Zambia! One nation! Tiri bantu bangati! Mitundu yonse ni Zambia. Mulishani kuno! Muli kwanji kuno! Muli uli! Mwazuwa shangwe! Mwachirimane! Muli naimani! Mwabuga wote! Zambia! One Zambia! One nation! Osabwelera kumbuyo kundewo! Osabwelera kumbuyo kumapanga! Tieni kusogolo kuli free education. Nikuyamba patayamba chape muzao na zabwin.
President Hichilema says voting for the UPND once again would be a wise choice for the residents of Kabwata in line with their developmental aspirations.
Mukawata, Mukamulanga Wadi, Chilenje, Livala, Kamala, Ndala Mazinge na Zijandala Mabakawala na badali kubwa zaka za pita hizi mbele kuni. So kulibe kubwela kumbuyo ni kuenda kusogo. Kuenda kusogo. Ukaenda kumbuyo uzange na mumukozi. Thank you so much. We love you. We are going to work for you. The free education ya mene mwaona ni kuyamba. Muzaona zambiri zabwino. Thank you. Mulungu atarise.
The head of state, who earlier attended a church service within Kamulanga area, proceeded to Lilai as a resident joyously glanced at the head of state and his motorcade while taking the usual selfies. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Meanwhile, residents of Jack Compound in Lusaka have called on Kabwata aspiring candidates to explain how they will deal with the road challenges in the area. The residents have told Camnet News that the state of most roads are impassable in the rainy season and that lack of proper drainages and the drainage system have made the situation even worse. And the residents have also challenged the candidates to explain how the community will benefit from the Constituency Development Fund CDF. More in the following report.
While the rain season has come as a blessing to the Zambian people who almost lost hope of seeing rains following the drought that hit most parts of the country, the challenges that comes with heavy downpours are however already being felt in most parts of the country. Residents of Lusaka's Jack compound in Kabwata constituency, which is slotted to hold a by-election on 3rd February 2022, have expressed disappointment at the bad state of the roads in the area and the fact that no aspiring candidate is explaining to the people how they will solve the poor road infrastructure in the area. Some houses have already been flooded with water, which the residents have attributed to lack of proper drainage systems.
So as they are campaigning, what we really want in this area, number one, roads. The roads are very bad. They are impassable, as you can see water around. And there are no drainages. So it's very difficult even for the vehicles to move around.
Chikulu batipangireko ma road even kuya paving achapi. Secondary drainage system tilibe ma drainages manzi kotaira. Third vakanso bezopita kutenga ndrama za mabini tikalipira mabinzi swachita collect. And kuno tilibe dumping area kuti kwantinga tane mabini niko.
Takwata drainage. Takwata drainage. Kwa kuyeta kwaga. So turefa ako.
Among many other challenges, the residents have challenged the aspiring candidates to explain how the Constituency Development Fund is going to help create employment for the local people in the area.
Empowerment. Campaign kale twata mpoku ichulira twale King Solomon. But President babika pobambi bali abakwaya tatulimo mkwaya tifuna zijandrama please mwanaweza kushira kumbuyo wasakazingalile zijandrama batishite imbawa ndisema youth na mayouth bamkomboni and ngatitizamo ngala idol so chape nchito disastrous kuti
challenges of school uniforms being sold at a high price and lack of proper market shelter was also among the challenges raised by the people of the area. And while sports play an important role in keeping youths away from illicit activities, a sports field in the area has been flooded by the rains, and the residents have called on the head of state and aspiring member of parliament to see how best the situation can be handled once and for all. Prudence Chota reporting for Camnet TV News.
Healing Word Ministries International Church Pastor Moses Chilwa has urged politicians to lead in the observance of moral values, with Zambia being a Christian nation. Speaking during the church Sunday service, Pastor Chilwa has expressed disappointment that politicians have continued insulting each other instead of offering sound advice to those they deem to be in the wrong. He has also challenged citizens to identify their potential in order to contribute to the country's prosperity.
You start insulting the president of the day. You are not a Christian. Tell them that I said it. Because all leaders are there put by God. Let me give an example. President Chagwalungu is out of that place. He has nothing to do with leadership. Whatever mistakes he made out there, you...
CARITAS Zambia Executive Director Eugene Kabilika says the United Party for National Development UPND administration should not shy away from holding a referendum even as it embarks on its journey of constitutional amendments as promised while in opposition. In an interview, Mr. Kabilika says there is need to amend the constitution once and for all, hence the need to ensure a holistic approach to the same. He adds that there is need for all stakeholders to reach a consensus in order to avoid failed attempts to amend the constitution, as was witnessed during the previous regime. More in this report.
The amending of Zambia's constitution has remained a topical issue, as while stakeholders agreed that there is need for constitutional amendments to close all loopholes, they cannot seem to agree on how this should be done. The Zambia Center for Interparty Dialogue ZCID in 2018 convened a meeting for all major political parties in Ziavonga to discuss potential constitutional reforms, which also included the separation of powers and judicial independence, as well as freedom of assembly, among other reforms. This saw the setting up of the famous National Dialogue Forum of 2019, aimed at implementing the Siavonga resolutions and for stakeholders to make submissions in order to reform the constitution. The effectiveness of the National Dialogue Forum was highly questioned, as it saw a majority of participants being from the then ruling Patriotic Front, while majority of representatives from the then opposition United Party for National Development UPND stayed away, among other key stakeholders. In June of the same year, the Zambian government released the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 10 of 2019, which sought to amend the constitution in several ways, some of which stakeholders said were not part of the recommendations from the National Dialogue Forum. The bill was greatly debated, as some alleged that it sought to unfavorably enhance presidential powers and subsequently failed to pass in Parliament in 2021. In an interview, CARITAS Zambia Executive Director Mr. Eugene Kabilika says the constitutional amendment process that has been promised in the UPND should have consensus from key stakeholders to avoid going through the same phase.
But in order to do that, there must be transparency from the very beginning to the end. We failed to do that during the previous attempts because we ran away from consensus. Before we reach consensus, others have already moved forward. That was problematic. So this time we must reach consensus before we move to the next step, so that at each step we take, there is consensus by all key stakeholders. That way we won't fail to amend or to enhance the Bill of Rights. Mr.
Kabilika says the process should also be holistic and include the holding of a referendum to enhance the Bill of Rights.
The UPND, during the time they were in opposition, they did allude to the fact that we need to remove the lacunas that are in the Constitution. So removing the lacunas means amending the Constitution. And also there's a big push to make sure that we include the rights, part 3 of the Constitution, which is the human rights. So if we enhance the human rights, it means we'll have to go to a referendum. So we must not be shy to go to the referendum, amend the Constitution, change, enhance the Bill of Rights, and go to referendum. For me, that would be the best way, instead of having this piecemeal, amend this and wait for the part 3 to be done later. That's why we always are caught up with so many things and we do nothing in the end.
The key emphasis from stakeholders has been the upholding of Zambia's democratic tenets, even as the constitution is amended. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Lusaka Province Acting Permanent Secretary Robert Kamalata says government is devising ways in which cowbells can be placed to prevent flooding, which is a common occurrence in Garden House compound in Lusaka district. Mr. Kamalata, who visited the flooded compound, notes that the main road in the area was built without a proper drainage, a situation which he says has been leading to floods that affect hundreds of people in the district. He told Zanis in Lusaka that he will discuss the matter with the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit DMMU National Coordinator and the Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Defense to find a lasting solution to the situation. More in this report.
With this heavy current, one would think it's a stream, but it is supposed to be a road in Garden House compound in Lusaka. The area is flooding following heavy rains that started yesterday.
We depend on underground water. Since we drink this water, then we are just tasting a salty water which is contaminated. And at least 6 of my siblings have suffered from diarrhea.
The shallow wells and pit latrines are submerged.
Our children are using tins.
We only use water from the wells. We don't have taps, we don't have clean water.
On the other side, residents are using buckets to remove water from their flooded houses. Lusaka District Commissioner Rosa Zulu says the new road was built without proper drainages, leading to flooding in the area.
Surely, honestly, how can you do a road without drainages? How did they expect these people to survive without any better drainages? It's not good.
Acting Provincial Permanent Secretary Robert Kamalata, who visited to check the flood situation in Garden House compound, says government will put up culverts to curb the situation.
Right
flooding is a common occurrence in Garden House compound. Hlupekile Nkunika for Zanis in Lusaka.
Patriotic Front member Chishimba Kambwili has survived a road traffic accident which occurred in the early hours of Sunday. Mr. Kambwili is believed to have been accompanied by National Democratic Congress NDC Imboela faction spokesperson Charles Kawita, who has also confirmed the accident. In a video recorded by Mr. Chishimba Kambwili, the former NDC leader is heard revealing that he and others involved in the accident are fine, but that his luxurious white Lexus is badly damaged. This is a third accident Mr. Kambwili is involved in the last 5 years, having escaped a deadly crash in Mwense district in 2017 and 2 weeks later was involved in another accident along Great North Road in which Mr. Kambwili sustained minor injuries. And efforts to get a comment from Mr. Kambwili proved futile by broadcast time. Zambia has continued to record reduced cases of COVID-19 with 266 recorded in the last 24 hours. This is out of 2,811 tests conducted. The country has also recorded 1 death in the same period, bringing the total number of accumulative deaths to 3,915. And 75 people are currently admitted, while 3,670 people are under community management. 33 people are on oxygen therapy, while 11 are in critical condition. This is according to the Ministry of Health daily COVID-19 update. This is Camnet TV Main News. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more news after the break.
We welcome you to the wonderful world of Savenda Electronics.
At Savenda Electronics, we pride ourselves in manufacturing high-quality electricity and water meters.
Boasting of the first of its kind state-of-the-art manufacturing plant in Zambia, Savenda Electronics manufactures customized smart electricity and water meters of international standards for both the local and international water and electricity utility companies. Our highly computerized factory, run by qualified staff, makes, calibrates, and electronically tests the smart meters to ensure only those meeting customer specifications are delivered to the market. Some of the main features which come with our meters includes notifications about low units, tempering, low battery, and many more customized features. Savenda Electronics provides on and off-site after-sales service and has favorable contract terms for water and electricity utility companies. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the ministry.
There's so much data.
Mom?
Yes, baby?
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. Zambia National Education Coalition Executive Director George Hamusunga has attributed the poor performance of grade 12 pupils in STEM subjects in the 2021 examinations to lack of teachers in the said subjects. Mr. Hamusunga says the fact that most pupils performed well in practical subjects means teachers in those subjects are well positioned. Mr. Musunga has since appealed to government to prioritize the recruitment of teachers in the STEM subjects, even as government plans to recruit 20,000 teachers in 2022.
We would like to call upon the ministry to ensure that as much as possible, they try by all means, especially to employ teachers in science and mathematics. We have seen from the results that, most of our learners performed very well in practical subjects, which is very good because those are subjects, of course, that would give them skills that will help them directly. But we know that the role of science also is important, especially in terms of giving our children the much needed skills that they can use to innovate and create technologies that will help us harness the resources that we have in this country for their livelihood and for the betterment of our country. So we are calling on government, for instance, to ensure that as they think of recruiting 30,000 teachers, they must recruit a number of teachers who will be teaching mathematics and science, especially in secondary schools, so that we can improve on performance around especially the STEM subjects.
Meanwhile, some teachers in Chongo district are confident that the ongoing 2022 Teacher Menstrual Health School Support Initiative training will respond to issues that a girl child faces, especially in rural areas. Wundawunda Primary School teacher Jero Tembo says it is important that every teacher has basic information on the health of the learners to competently handle various challenges that learners face in schools. Meanwhile, the teachers who have been trained will facilitate the distribution of sanitary products such as menstrual cups and provide basic menstrual hygiene awareness to the girls in these schools. Earlier, the Human Street Health Aid Zambia embarked on a teacher training project aimed at empowering teachers with basic menstrual hygiene information. More in the following report.
Menstruation awareness helps educating young people about their periods and feminine hygiene. It emphasizes making hygiene products available to those who need, especially the learners in rural areas. But more so, the need for training of teachers cannot be overemphasized. During the ongoing 2022 Teacher Menstrual Health School Support Initiative, some teachers in Chongo district are confident that it will respond to issues that a girl child face, especially in rural areas. They say this during an interview with Camnet TV.
From attending a workshop that was focusing on menstrual hygiene. From this workshop, I've learned a lot concerning promoting menstrual hygiene amongst the girl child. Knowing that in Chongwe, most of the schools, especially Wundawunda, it's a rural school. And most of the times, issues concerning menstrual hygiene, when a girl child is attending periods, they tend to abscond themselves from classes, which also attributes to failure on their part. But from this program, we have learned a lot in what can help the girl child to attend their classes regularly by knowing the benefits of the menstrual cups. Once these cups are distributed to the learners, they are not going to have a situation whereby they are going to abscond themselves from classes. As a result, they are going to attend the classes regularly and then improve the performance.
And the Human Street Health Aid Zambia says the organization is aimed at complementing government efforts to achieving the menstrual hygiene agenda. Organization Director Edgar Sulwimba says this in an interview.
Coming from rural communities of Chongwe district, and the teachers have had an orientation on how to use the menstrual cup and the basic menstrual hygiene. It is believed that after this training, we will begin our menstrual health school support initiative distribution of sanitary menstrual cups in the few selected schools. Our biggest dream is to see to it that we empower almost each and every school, almost each and every girl in Zambia. But however, we are incapacitated due to limited resources. But our biggest dream is to see every girl be empowered through menstrual hygiene support related material.
Meanwhile, the teachers who have been trained will facilitate the distribution of sanitary products such as menstrual cups and provide basic menstrual hygiene awareness to the girls in these schools. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, Chongo District.
The Civil Society for Scaling Up Nutrition, CSO SAN, has urged government to ensure that the school feeding program aimed at primary school learners in rural and vulnerable schools takes into account the dietary needs of pupils. In an interview, CSO SAN Country Coordinator Mr. Matthews Mhuru notes that with high poverty levels in the country, some learners can only get their dietary needs through this program, hence the need to ensure that the program not only feeds the children, but also gives them necessary nutrients for growth. He has also commended the United Party for National Development, UPND administration, for increasing the 2022 national budget to 18.1 billion kwacha from 13.8 billion kwacha in 2021, stating that they will see programs such as school feeding program continue to thrive, especially after withdrawal of financial support from the World Food Program.
You know, it is really important to see that programs that would safeguard, the welfare of learners, programs that would encourage attendance of school programs by learners, such as the school feeding programs, are actually supported. In the past, the challenges that we've had with the school feeding program is the fact that, the meals that are given to learners, and beneficiaries of school feeding programs were not really meeting their dietary needs. In some cases, you would just find, certain schools would just boil maize and feed that to the children, which does not really, add any value to their nutritional needs. And in some cases, you just find one particular food, being given to learners. So one of the things that has been recommended highly is that, the school feeding program has to have a nutrition focus. You really need to take the dietary needs of the learners into consideration as you operationalize it. We're happy that the budget really saw some budget allocation that would go towards the school feeding program, especially now that stakeholders like the World Food Program that supported the program of school feeding financially, as well as also from a technical angle, have withdrawn the financial support from the school feeding program. It is imperative that government should ensure that they have a standard package of what learners would eat, as well as also ensuring that the rollout of the school feeding program is done in an appropriate manner.
This is Camnet TV and not just another channel. We'll take a break. We'll be back with international and sports news.
Deborah, have you connected to the Wi-Fi on the bus? It's fast, it's amazing. I've just downloaded my books and I'm about to complete the series. It's nice, chew me.
No, I'm actually watching a reality show. He's about to propose. Oh, so sweet.
Make your trip seem short yet comfortable and safe when you use the UBZ luxurious fully air-conditioned coaches that come fitted with amazing onboard entertainment, passenger information services, coffee-making facilities and fridge for your hot and cold beverages, free and interrupted Wi-Fi for your gadgets, phone charging facilities, comfortable seats that recline to offer extra resting posture, safety seat belts, adjustable reading lights for each traveling client, and of course, clean flushing toilets for your convenience. So travel in luxury and safety with UBZ luxurious coaches. UBZ will always take you there.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
From 31st January to 6 February 2022, Zambia's spiritual atmosphere will take a paradigm shift. The Bible says, "Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord."
Zambia, a nation under God conference
will be starting at 20:45 hours
to 22:30 hours.
Live on Camnet TV channel 274 on DSTV, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106.
Speakers will be
Bishop Stanley Simnyola, Grace Ministries,
Dr. Nevas Mumba, Victory Ministries,
Apostle Michael Mutemwa from South Africa,
Bishop Nelly Chikwanda, New Life Christian Center,
Apostle Rick Kamwanga, Risen Life Church International,
Bishop Joy Makando, Bread of Life,
Bishop Alex Mwami of Holy Ghost Firehouse from South Africa, and your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chilua.
Camnet Television,
not just another channel.
Welcome back. And now in international news, almost a week after having dissolved the government, Burkina Faso's army has been on a recruitment drive to send more people to the front line. In his first speech, the country's new military leader, Lieutenant Colonel Paul Henry Damiba, has called on citizens to join the military in its fight against armed groups to save the country. When the military first seized power, its leaders had accused deposed President Roch Kabore of failing to stop the violence by armed groups in the north. A delegation from the West African bloc, ECOWAS, which has called the coup a setback for democracy in the region, is in Burkina Faso to meet the leaders of Monday's coup. More in this report.
Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed is in the United Arab Emirates on a state visit. The leader arrived on Saturday and was greeted by Abu Dhabi's Crown Prince, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. This visit comes as war has been ravaging Ethiopia's north since November 2020, leaving some 350,000 Tigrayans on the brink of starvation. In the fight against Tigray rebels, Abiy's government could count on foreign partners. Ethiopian authorities have resorted to drones to back their military offensive, and experts say drones were purchased from the United Arab Emirates, China and Turkey.
In search for his family's approval, Miriam's brother joined Burkina Faso's army. With a uniform comes respect, but also the risk of death. She didn't make much of the call he made one night announcing he was going to the front line. The war in the north feels far away from Ouagadougou, almost like it's happening in a different country. But now the reality of war is hitting home. Bodies of soldiers are returning in coffins. Among them, Miriam's brother. He was killed in an ambush by Al-Qaeda fighters.
When I see soldiers' uniform, I want to break down and cry. It reminds me of my brother, of a corpse laying in a coffin still. The sight of uniforms makes me scared.
Fear is spreading. Millions are displaced. Al-Qaeda and ISIL fighters continue to gain ground. Almost a week after Colonel Damiba took power in a coup, there's a precarious calm in the capital, and fear that with political instability, there will likely be more attacks.
This is what is left of Burkina Faso's military headquarters. It was attacked in 2018 by an Al-Qaeda affiliate. 4 years on, it still has not been rebuilt. Colonel Damiba promises change in the military to shore up the morale of troops that has suffered so many losses.
And it starts with a call to arms broadcast on the radio across the nation. The message of Colonel Damiba: join the fight to save the country.
I am ready to take up arms because each time they attack, they put our country in mourning. Why is this happening to our country? Why are we under attack?
Those that killed her brother are Al-Qaeda fighters, but only by name, says Miriam. They are locals. She believes poverty is fueling the violence and not ideology.
Poverty and unemployment means young men are lured by armed groups. We need to find a way to feed families and bring back the state's authority in those remote areas.
While she cannot bring back her brother, she hopes peace can be brought back to this nation gripped by bloodshed. Nicholas Hawk, Al Jazeera, Ouagadougou.
It's now time for sports news. And in sports news, Newcastle United have signed Brazil midfielder Bruno Guimarães from Lyon. The 24-year-old defensive midfielder has signed a 4.5-year contract at St. James's Park. He is Newcastle's third signing of the window, following Kieran Trippier's move from Atletico Madrid and Chris Wood's arrival from Burnley. Newcastle have also agreed a £13 million deal with Brighton for central defender Dan Burn to return to his native northeast. Guimarães adds protection to a backline that has kept only 2 clean sheets in the Premier League this season and are currently 18th in the table. Reports suggest the fee is €40 million with a further €8 million in add-ons. The Brazilian passed a medical on international duty in South America as the two clubs finalized details in the last few days. Newcastle boss Eddie Howe said Bruno is a hugely exciting talent and has been one of their primary targets, and so he is delighted to secure him. On Saturday, the team returned from a training trip to Saudi Arabia and faced Everton in their next Premier League game on Tuesday, the 8th of February. That story brings us to the end of the news, but let's take a look at the headlines once again. Body of a missing 65-year-old man found floating in a dam. President Hakainde Hichilema stresses on peace as key economic driver. CARITAS Zambia urges government not to shy away from constitutional reforms. In international news, Burkina Faso Army launches recruitment drive days after coup. And in sports news, MAGPIES sign BRUNO GUIMARAES from LYON. Our Camnet verse for the day is coming from the book of Matthew 5, verse 6 to 7. Those who hunger and thirst for righteousness are blessed, for they will be filled. The merciful are blessed, for they will be shown mercy. That's all we had for you. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo, and thanks for watching Camnet TV Main News. Bye-bye.